Good evening. Welcome in RNQ Zeno classes. Block number 3, unit number 4, Indian Hermeneutics. 4.0 Objectives. The objective of this unit is to familiarize the student regarding the hermeneutical growth in the Indian tradition. It is not a detailed exposition. However, the student is required to familiarize with the various schools of Indian thought who adopt different ways of interpreting their philosophers and worldviews. The student is required to have general framework of Indian philosophy that the notion presented become familiar to him. 1.4 Introduction. The diversity of Indian continent is not only limited to languages, religions, cultures, but also to the philosophers too. Diversity in philosophic heritage can be attributed to the creative interpretations and reinterpretations of the classical Indian text. A basic understanding of the various philosophical schools, both heterodox and orthodox. The literary genre of each tradition's religious outlook and spirit of Indian culture as a whole when its complexity will literary literary genre of each tradition religious outlook and spirit of Indian culture as a whole with its complexity will enable us to have some glimpse of the depth of Indian understanding of interpretations. An important point to note is that there is an exchange of wealth of knowledge between different schools, the basis of which is found in the use of different grammatical tools, rules of interpretations made use by different authors to expose their own philosophical views. Therefore, the advantages which are the auxiliary signs which help for Vedic interpretation do play an important role in the hermeneutic trend in India starting from the Vedas. We can trace the hermeneutic development during different periods. They can be classified as Vedic period, Epic, Purana period, Satra period. 4.2 Vedic interpretation. Vedas are at the basis of the Vedic culture, which has its own tradition. Along the way, the Arji Yojar Sama and Atharvaveda, the Rag, Yajur, Sama, and other Vedas had influence on overall culture and society of India, containing the divine revelation and are called Upaushya. They have been the chief texts of interpretations. Reaching its climax, the Vedic period had developed a system of ritualism, acute sensitiveness for language and grammar, resulting in a very complex view since the Vedic text contained in the term of fundamental questions and orientations of human life. They have been interpreted differently based on different approaches to life. This had led to the emergence of the darsanas, especially astika systems who obey their allegiance to the Vedic authority. After the Vedic period, we find the epic period, where two important epics were compiled, Ramayana and Mahabharata. They are alive to today as they have been researched and viewed to the changing context. At the end of this period, we find the compilations in the form of sutras, offerings. It is through the sutras all the traditional knowledge has been handed down till the present day. Hence there arose a methodology which interpreted the sutras. For the sutras literally meant thread, yarn or string that runs through and holds together different ideas and links of diverse interpretations within one traditions. They are the causes the seminal ideas often a framed as to contain the least number of letters, to be constructed in such a way as to avoid ambiguity and doubt, are, are impregnated with the meanings. D have widest applications. E are free from all defects and are reasonable at the same time. Sutras needed deeper explanations, which gradually led to the development of Vedangas. They helped in the Vedic sutras needed deeper explanations, which gradually led to the development of Vedangas. They helped in the Vedic interpretations. They are Nirukta etymology, Vyakarana, grammar, Siksha, phonetics, Chandas, material science, interpretation. They are Jyotisha, astronomy, and Kalpa, science, art of rituals. The commentaries which were developed using these Vedangas are known as Vyasas. Vasyas are commentaries on sutras. However, the further commentaries were developed on the Bhasyas too. They are known as followed by Vakyanas, Vakyanas, Tikas, and Bhriti or Tipani, which can be considered as short notes for a beginner to enter into any school of thought. There are manuals which are known as Prakarana Grantha, School of Vedic Interpretation. Over the centuries, the Vedas have been interpreted differently by different schools that focused on one aspect of Vedas. Some of the traditional schools of Vedic interpretations are Yajnika school, ritualistic interpretation. The chief propounder of this school is Sanacharya Athiyasikas. Historical interpretations. This school looks at the Vedic text as historical happenings. Baccharinus, Grammarinus, the school interprets Vedic text as book text as authoritative text of grammar. Narukta etymology school. This school is propounded by Yaska, which used root meanings to find meaning of Vedic text. Parivrajakas, mystical interpretations. The school interprets Vedas as mystical expressions. Some of the traditional Indian interpreters are Sanyachari, Skandaswami, Bhattavaskara, Mahidhara, Madhava, and in the modern times, Dayananda Saraswati, R.M. Roy, Bala Gangadhar Tilak, Radha Krishnan, Aurobindo, Kumar Swami, etc. Even Western scholars have contributed eminently to the interpretations of Vedas. They are Roth H. H. Wilson, Max Muller, R. T. H. Griffith, Myrick, Bloomfield, Abel, Bargain, Bargeni, Raimundo, Panikkar, etc.
ମୁଁ କାହିଁକି ବେକାରଟାରେ ହେଇକି ପୁଣି ଏମାନଙ୍କ ସହିତ ପଢାଇବା ଦରକାର ନାହିଁ ନା ବୁଝ 40 ଭଳିଆ ହେବେ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଲିଷ୍ଟ
Principles of Vedic interpretation. Vedic interpretations requires the resourcefulness of the interpreter because the Vedic Sanskrit is different than the classical Sanskrit and awareness of metaphors, similars, worldview, mythology. Knowledge of rituals is needed to interpret Vedas. The knowledge of Mitra, Padapatha and Samitapatha too is needed to interpret Vedas. The focus on articulation, siksha, ascent time factor and nasalizations of sounds needed to be taken into consideration. The etymologies in Vedas have their own rules to derive the meanings. They are such as regular words should be derived in a regular way. Comparison can be made use and through meaning and consideration. ଖାଇ ତ ନେଇ ବଳ ତ ନାହିଁ ଟିକେ
ଦିଦି ନା ଗୋଟେ ଗୁଡି ଦେଇକି କହିବି ଖାଇ ପିଇକି ଆସିବ ତ ଛେଚିବ ଦି ଜଣ କହିବି
made use through meaning consideration. Etymologies can be derived. The knowledge of various phonetic phenomena such as metathesis, synocope, haplology, and anaptysis who is needed for Vedic interpretation. ମତେ ଦବୁନି କି ମୁଁ ନାଟ୍ୟ ଦେଖେଇମି ତତେ ନାଟ୍ୟ ଦେଖେଇମି ମୁଁ ଦେଖେଇମି ଯାଉଛି ନାଟ୍ୟ 4.3 Indian theories of meaning. Language is not merely what is articulated, rather it has an inner nature which is the world essence known as the Sabada Brahman, which is beginningless and endless. The Sabada Brahman is conscious in all living beings through vibration in two ways, Nama name and Rupa form. In this regard, the Bhak speech is understood at four levels in relation to the understanding of the centers of energy. The four levels are Parabhak, transcendent speech at the Muladhara Kakra. Pashyantibhak, subtle speech at the Spadhisthana Kakra. 3. Madhyama Bhak, inner speech at the Anahata Kakra. Bhaikari Bhak, manifest speech at the Visuddha Kakra. Spotha theory. Spotha theory is propounded mainly by the grammarians Vakyarana Darsana. The origin of this theory is attributed to Spotiana RSI by different authors. The word spotha etymologically derived from the root saput, which means to open, to unfurl, to develop. The same Vakarana Darsana describes Spotha as the eternal world symbol, which is different from letters manifested by letters and indicative of meaning. The Spotha is different from Dhavani, sound, Bhatrahari, Nagesa Bhatta, and Vedantics, etc., have discussed on Spotha elaborately. Spotha theory holds detailed analysis of letter, word, and sentence basis, unit of language, analysis of letter, word, and sentences. There are different views on the basic unit of language. Will Mimamsa hold that it is the letter Varna. Naikas holds it as word pada. Bhakarans hold it as sentence vakya. Mimamsa hold that the letters are the ultimate units of language. It is the combinations of letters that constitutes a word, and it is the combinations of words that constitutes a sentence. Word, a sentence have no independent entity apart from letters. They hold that individual letters are partless and indivisible. There is no potency of generating spotha without letters. It is the letters who bear the meaning. Kumarila Bhatta expanded this view. The Naikas hold view that it is the world which is the real unit of language. They refute Vardins, arguing that letters taken separately do not convey any meaning, and all combinations of letters are not meaningful. The potency of generating a sense lies in the terms as like when a word is made of some root affix, case, etc. The denotive's capacity lies in the word alone. The Vyakaranas hold that the real unit of language is a sentence. This view has been expounded chiefly by Bhartahari. Bharathari in his Vakya Padyam. The sentence is the fundamental unit of language because dividing it into letters and words is only an artificial approach, for as judgment sentence is one integral whole which is really indivisible. Analysis of word conditions for words. In a wider sense, sabada is understood as sound dhabani, which is perceived by the auditory sense organ. In a restricted sense, it is understood as the spoken word signifying something, and still more refined sense refers to testimony. Words are divided further into two types. Varnatmaka articulate further divide into sarthaka or meaningful, and nirarthaka or meaningless, and the and dhabanatmaka inarticulate. A word is that which is capable of meaning. The potency of a word to denote something is called briti. That is the relation between word and meaning, which gives rise to verbal cognitions. This potency of a word is of two kinds, namely sakti, abhida, and lakshana. The rasa schools and another kind, namely bhanjana. Hey, bhanjana as briti. With regard to the meaning of the word and reference, it is generally held that word refers to bhakti, akriti, and jati. With the grammatical nonsense with regard to the derivations of the meaning of words, four kinds of saktis are recognized. Classifications of word is done based on this sakti. A sentence is a combination of words with a mutual relations among the concepts. The analysis of a sentence. Therefore, any collections of words does not become a sentence. There are certain conditions which have to be fulfilled in order that it becomes a meaningful sentence. These conditions are akansa, expectancy. A word by itself may not convey the full meaning in a sentence. It needs other words in order to convey to meaning. This mutual expectancy of one word or to another is known as akanksha. Two, asati or sanidhi, juxtapositions. The meaning of words in a sentence can be understood only if they are co-uttered. Sahakarita, the co-utterance of words is known by the name of asati or sanidhi. 3. Yogyata, fitness, concord of words. The word is in a sentence should be mutually compatible. They should be fit enough to the combine together. 4. हाँ तो कौन 4. Tatparya, intention of the speaker. The knowledge of the speaker's intentions becomes more particularly necessary in the case of an equivocal expression and can be determined with the help of various factors which determine the meaning of the words. In the Indian hermeneutical tradition is also discussed as how does the different words put together give rise to meaning. There is a synthesis of concept. To answer this as how does the synthesis takes place, two theories have been put forwarded and are discussed in the wider circles. They are Abhitanbhaya theory. This theory is propounded by the Mimamsa school, Kumarila Bhatta school. According to this theory, all words convey their meaning separately. The different words become related together by a scientific construction. Samsaraga Maryada. This takes place in accordance with the Akanksha, Sati, Yogyata, and Tatparya. Thus meaning of the sentence arises from a synthesis. Anvaya of the word's meaning is the con, con, concentrations of the individual items expressed by words. The individual words have in themselves meaning which can be compounded separately on hearing a sentence. We have first an understanding of the separate meanings of the words, and after the other then we put together these meanings according to the Akanksha Yogyata Dasanidhi, and we arrive at the meaning of the sentence. Unlike the words, the sentence does not have its own independent meaning based on the physiological analysis of the process of learning a language. A meaning of a word is learned by observing the use of words in actual context of situations. The meaning of recollected in similar situation. This view was held by Prabhakara and Siddhananda, but some others like Pratha Sarathi Misra hold that the meaning of a word is conveyed by the primary significative potency of the word. The meaning is conveyed directly and not by reminder of former experiences. And Bhita theory. According to the Anvita Bhidana propounded by the Prabhakara Guru school, word in a sentence are synthesis of concept. According to this theory, the words expressed are already related together and they collectively generate the meaning in an automatic way. It is not the case. It is not. It is not the. It is not the case. It is not the case that the words are said first and the synthesis is made later on. Words are real and actual constituents of language and have definite meaning of their own, but the purpose of the words is to serve as part of the sentence. Unrelated words are only abstractions. Thus, the individual word meanings and their mutual relations are conveyed by the words themselves. The Anvita Vidana theory of sentence states that the sentence has a unitary meaning of its own. The constituent words possess meaning only as they are related to this unitary sentence meaning in the language learning of the children. The Guru school holds that a sentence and behavior produced out of it makes the children to learn the meanings of the sentence and act accordingly. Different schools of philosophy have responded differently to the questions of the meaning of a sentence, largely depending on the metaphysical outlook they had and the aim they wanted to achieve against the rebel schools. This theory of sentence meaning has been strongly criticized by the Bhatta school. Later on, the views on both these theories are synthesized by Mukula Bhatta into a combination called theory of samusaya. For both these theories contain only the partial truth.
बुद्धमती नहीं बांधते नहीं
ଟିକେ ବାପା ଆଉ ନନାକୁ ବାଟ ଛାଡୁନା ସେ ଯାଉ ଛୁଇଁ ଛାଡୁ ବାଜେ ବାଜେ ଯିବା Ramaya. 4.4 Analysis of Hermeneutics language. Heterosians identify threefold bhratis in verse. They are language.
बाड़ी जान देखियो बाड़ी बाड़ रे कोमल ना मु जिमी नहीं मु जाऊ छी ये बाड़ी
Abhi the Bhakyarth literary meaning. Bhakyarth is the cheap meaning or the fixed dictionary meaning. It is also known. It is also known as Mukhyartha, Abhidartha, Sakyartha, etc. Lakshartha, Laksana, figurative meaning. When the cheap meaning is hampered or abstracted. When the cheap meaning is hampered or abstracted in some way, it gives rise to the laksana or the secondary meaning. It is some syntactical incompatibility or a hindrance to the intended meaning that necessitates laksana. Lakshartha can take place when there is any obstructions to the primary meaning and also when substitutions of another meaning is associated with the primary meaning. Sometimes conventions or purpose necessitates lakshana. Lakshana differences are found in the classifications of lakshana, but popularly accepted one is the threefold classifications: Jahat Lakshana, Ajahat Lakshana, and Jahata Lakshana. Vigyartha Vyanjana implied meaning. Vyanjana is that capacity of suggestiveness of implications which differs both from Abhidha and Lakshana. The rhetoric Rhetoric school recognized two types of Vyanjanas, namely Sabadi Vyanjana and Arthi Vyanjana. The Vyanjana is called Sabadi Vyanjana if the implication arises from some specific words. However, it can mean so if it depends on the primary meaning of the word. Abhidharmo Abhidhamula, or it can also depend on the secondary meaning. Lakshana Mula Bhanjana is called Arthi Bhanjana if the implications arises from the meaning of the sentence as a whole and not from any specific word. For example, the sun has said it. It also depends on the nature of the speaker, nature of the beater, or proximity of some other sentence, the place, the time, intonations, gesticulations of the speaker, etc. Some views of poetic language. The poetic language too has been identified in the field of hermeneutics. Understanding them gives much wider light on the interpretations of text and the place their metaphysical outlook and how they have been employed in various ways. Some of the important questions that are dealt in these schools are what constitutes the essence of poetry, what are its main elements, what are the characteristics of poetic language, etc. These questions are discussed under the six schools of poetics. The Rasa school, according to the school of thought of this, the essence of poetry lies in Rasa Bharata Muni analysis. Three factors involved in the Rasa Vibhava, Anubhava, and Bhabikari Bhaba of the nine rasas, and Sringara Rasa, which pervades the most of the poetical literature. To the Riti school. According to this school, the thought, the soul of poetry is Riti. Bhamana Akaraya is the chief propounder of this school. Riti means a specialized from the composition. 3. The Bhakroti school. According to this school, the essential feature of poetic expression is Bhakrokti Suntaka. Akarya is the chief exponent of the school. Bhakrokti, according to him, is that kind of artistic expression which suggests something in an ingenious way. Example, can a leopard change its spots? Of the Dhanya Loka is the chief propounder of the school. Dhabani, according to this school, is that in which the Vangartha implied meaning far excels the Vakyartha literal meaning. The school propounds the idea that it is the aesthetic sensibility of the person who enjoys the pleasures generated by the Dhabani. Classifications of Dhavani is done under various heads. However, the threefold classification is considered as common. They are a Dhavani, arising from the force of the word Saktu Katha. B. Dhavani arising from the force of meaning. Artha Artha Sakyukta, and C. Dhabani arising from the force of word and meaning.
Hey, open our other
ଅଛି ଏଠି ଥାଉ
ଗୋଟିଏ ହେଇଯାଉଛି
ନା କହୁଛି ମୋ ପାଖରେ ବସ
ଉଭୟ ସତ୍ୟ
ପାଖରେ କାଇଁ
ସତ୍ୟତା
ଖାଉନି କିଛି ବାପା
ଆଜି ଇଏ ଖାଦ୍ୟ ଆଉ ଖାଇବ
ରୁଟି ଦିଅ ମୁଁ ଖାଇବି
ଟୋଟାଲି ଖାଆନ୍ତି ଗାଧୁଆବେଳେ ଏତିକି ନିଜେ ଆଳୁ ଚକୁଟି ଆଳୁ ଏତିକି ଖାଇବ
ଖାଲି
ଆଉ ତାପରେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ବାଧ୍ୟ ହବ ଗୋଟେ ବିଷୟ ପିଲାକୁ ପାଠକେ
The Dhabani theory occupies a unique place in the rhetoric schools of Indian aesthetics. Grammarian school used this understanding of Dhabani in relation to phenomena. The utter syllabus it was used by Bhartrhari to explain the language phenomenon where the literal meaning of the sentence is different from the intended sense. Dhabani literally means sound, tone, echo, etc. But in the poetic school, it means evocations. Ananda Bhardana defines Dhabani as a specific arrangement of a language wherein the primary meaning remains subordinate in order that the evoked significant signs prominently. The nature of Dhabani is explained in the
ଭାତ ଭୁଜି ବନ୍ଦ କର ଖା
metaphorical way, like the charm of young
ଖାଇବା କତିର ଭାତ ଭୁଜି ନା
woman Lavanya, which is much more than the sum of lines like soul to the body, etc. Ananda Bhardamana based on the nature of Dhabani divides it into three types. Into three types, namely Vastu Dhabani, Alamkara Dhabani, and Rasa Dhabani. It is
କି ପାଠ ସିଏ ପଢୁ କି ପାଠ
ये पढ़ुचे मु ये आर्ट्स रो ये
ପ୍ଲସ୍ ଥ୍ରୀ
बसी गोटे चुपचाप देख it is It is important to note that Dhabani does differ from individual word meanings. Abhida or Laksana, it much more than that. The evocativeness take place not merely with the conditions of the world, but is conditioned by factors such as the context, the relation between the speaker and the listener. The time, the place, the intonation, etc. More than the author, it is the reader who plays important role in the evocative meaning. The evocative meaning falls outside the realm of logical knowledge of therefore it is alokika in the sense of appreciative realm dhabani in this sense brings together the experienced world of the author which lies beneath the text through the dhabani to the expressing world of the reader. Anand Vardhamana further states that dhabani is not limited to the language and its functions but goes beyond them to wider reality of gestures, music, etc. Dhabani theory therefore aims at bringing richer meaning to the next delight to the reader, chamatkara, and enables a process of discovery through sensitivity in perception by interpreting finer aspects of reality leading to newer perspectives. Fifth, the Ayusitya school. The school considers the Ayusitya property property of or fitness as the life of the poetry acharya Kesmendra is the chief exponent of this school. The Nauchitya or the impropriety or discord of one thing with another gives rise that the rasa bhanga or the breach of aesthetic joy. This school The school considers Asatya as the sustaining life force of poetry. Six, the Alankara school. The Alankara school of thought focuses on the decoration of language with the help of Alankaras. Accordingly, poetry is ornamentation of expression. Alankaras embellish rasa. There are two types of Alankaras. There are Sabdalankar ornamental word and Arthalankar ornamental meaning. 4.5 Hermeneutics in heterodox schools. Buddhist understanding of the language and its components differs from other orthodox school of Indian thought, keeping in mind the general framework of Buddhist metaphysics, especially the Four Noble Truths theory of dependent originations, eightfold path, meditation, and the community. Sangha संघ Kasnika Bhada, Anatma Bhada, etc. The Buddhist hermeneuticians argue along the line of their metaphysics in order to establish their proposed views. Therefore, their analysis of word meaning sentence in general, the language differs from the schools. In the first place, Buddhist exegesis interpretation is derived from Abhidharma, one of the Pitaka's Buddhist hermeneutics list matrices, matrika, the digest or exegetical guides which maintain orthodoxy and also provide patterns for exegetical coherence. Nirvana or enlightenment being the ultimate aim of Buddhism, interpretations and the practical applications of Buddhist scriptures needs to be taken into consideration. Principles of Buddhist hermeneutics. 1. The four reliance of strategies for understanding a text. Pratisarana. According to Pratisarana Sutra, there are four criteria of interpretation. They are relying on the teaching and not on the teacher, rely on the meaning and not the letter, rely on the definitive meaning and not the interpretable meaning, rely on non conceptual wisdom and not on not on the dualistic cognition. 2. The four types of international and metaphoric language. There are several methods to understand the intonations of the text. Abhipraya or contextual meanings are used for decoding the passage will. Abhisamadhi also is used in decoding the sacred text. The four kinds of intentions mentioned are: first, introductory hidden intention, where the meaning is relevant only for the beginner; metaphysical hidden intention, where the meaning is a statement on the nature of reality; therapeutic hidden meaning, where the meaning is realized by following the instructions in combating unhealthy actions or states of mind; metaphorical intention, where the meaning is not the literal meaning and often is paradoxical in character. Paradoxical in character. There are other two principles followed in the Buddhist hermeneutics. There are four modes of reasoning: use of analogies like derived ginger ginger placed in medicinal powder, the canvas or painting, etc. Apohavada. In the first place, the Buddhist logicians hermeneutics consider that the essence of meaning is negative in character and that words have no direct reference to objective realities. They say it because for them words deal directly with the conceptual image which are purely subjective construction of the mind. Vikalpas and the connections is between the words and the mental image. Therefore, meaning of a word is a conceptual image. Vikalpa, the essence of vikalpa, is the negations of all its correlates. Anyapoha, which means the exclusions of all object that are not nor the concept. The Buddhist on this line deny the existence of a positive entity called the universal samanya or jati. Ultimately, only the savalakshana or a particular at a point of a time is the real. The existence of objective world is made up of succession of momentary particulars. These momentary particulars produce mutually different results, but since they produce same sensations, that they all appear as identical. Since the sameness is given importance and the relative differences are excluded, it gives rise to the same perceptions. The pratyaksha pramana of our Buddhist logicians gives the unerring knowledge of the unique particular that is given directly to the senses. However, the name and the form is supplied by the mind, which can't be included in the perception. Therefore, the perception is indeterminate for Buddhist hermeneutics. The conceptual image of a thing has no direct correspondence with the real external things, which are mutually different. The apparent identity of the image is produced by the identical efficiency of things. However, these conceptual images bring about purposeful action in daily life. A word can signify a unique particular since the particulars are momentary entities do not continue up to the time that conventional relation is apparent, and the universal is only an intellectual fiction without any reality. A word can denote a real positive that thing because only the momentary particular savalakshana is ultimately ultimately real. The meaning therefore is a conceptual construction and not a objective fact. The word produces the purely subjective concept which is negative in nature. Excludes order concept to make it distinct. Therefore, meaning of a word is the exclusion of everything other than the concept. And Apoha. This theory of Apohavada has been criticized by different schools on different grounds. The modified version of the same theory is found the works of Kirti. He has attributed that the word consists of both the positive and negative meanings. It is important to note that through this theory, the Buddhist metaphysics of the unreality of universals is achieved. Later Nayikars have adopted the insights through their understanding on telepathy. This is one of the contributions of defining meaning through negation.
Mama asu na? Hey, who's?
Jaina interpretation. Jainism is another significant school of heterodox system. It arose as a protest movement against Hinduism. It differs from the other systems in its religiosity, metaphysics, and epistemology. Its metaphysical views holds that reality is pluralistic, expressed itself in multiple forms. All assertions of this pluralistic reality can't be one view rather a relative and probably reality for the genus is complex web of many names, aneka and manifoldness. Anikanta. Therefore, there are different points of view. The Jaina view of reality depends on the two main pillars, namely Sadabhada and Anekanta Bhada. The contributions of Jainas to the field of interpretation is significant because they admitted the possibility of multiple interpretations to the language and methods of interpretation. Their contribution is very less. However, it is important to note their understanding of language as expressive bhakka or suggestive janapakka. They hold that meaning is primarily rooted in the nature of reality and becomes conveyed through this expressive suggestive capacity of words. It is important to note that Jaina view altogether corresponds with the modern hermeneutical developments, the appreciation for variety and emergence of meaning and limited to language epistemology but also to ontology. Through this, there is a relativistic view which is more consistent with their ontological commitment in pluralism. 4.6 Interpretations in Orthodox School. Two important schools which stand out in the Indian hermeneutic tradition are the Vyakaranas and the Mimamsa. Mimamsas, the analysis of words, sentences, etc. belong to mainly the grammarian school. However, it is not exclusively its right. Always contributions from other systems of thought in the form of criticism, correction, and innovations have contributed to the growth and refinement of their views. The second important school in this regard is the Mimamsa school. The Mimamsas are considered as the science of judicial interpretations of the sacrificial portions of Veda. Mimamsa school came into the context of Vedic text which were found to be contradictory. However, proper interpretations cleared the contradictions. Mimamsa in this regard is a science of interpretations or exegesis. It essentially differs from Kalpa Sutra and Nirukta, but has the characteristics of both. Procedure of understanding. Mimamsa identify the five-step procedure of understanding, which is called Adhikarana. These are not absolute. Mimamsas identify the five-step procedure of understanding, which is called adhikarana. These are not absolute categories. There are difference of opinion regarding this. The five steps of adhikarana are the following. One visa, the text or the passage is the subject of interpretations, which is being capable of having two or meanings. Two, samasya, doubt. When there is a doubt regarding the correct meaning of the text, it is known as samasya. 3, purva pakasa is stand taken with one of the meanings and testing how far it stands reasonably. Uttara paksha is the refutations of the purva paksha or the suggested meaning. Nirnaya is the establishment of the true meaning. Some of the conditions of understanding are found even in Uttara Mimamsa. The conditions are: 1. The beginning upakarma. 2. The conclusions upasamarahati. 3. The repetitions of abhyasa. 4. Peculiarity apurvata. The 5. The object phalam. 6. The expectations or purpose arthavada. 7. Suitableness upapati. The further discussions on the adhikaranas and the principles of textual interpretations are known as nyas. These are primarily linguistic and grammatical tools which contribute to the enrichment of the meaning of the textual exegesis. In order to understand the rituals prescribed in the Vedas, Mimamsas developed a systematic theory of Bhakya This helps in the clarifications and correct understanding of the various rituals. It is to be noted that the social religious context of the time, especially sacrifice based or social religious milieu, is taken into considerations. It is also worth noting that Mimamsas make use of the Nyayas in their hermeneutical strategy, like that of the Talia Naya Kakadant Pariksha Naya, etc. The Mimamsa interpretation there is based on some of the basic principles which will give the proper meaning of the Vedic sentence. These principles are of two types of principles that primarily related to the interpretations words and sentences. B. Principles regarding the interpretations and applications of sacrificial act. In understanding the meaning of the word, the following rules need to be taken into consideration. They are one, meaning of words by current usage. 2. Aryan usage of a word need to be taken into consideration against the foreign usage of the same word. 3. Meaning of foreign words should be taken in their own sense. For a word is to be understood in the sense suitable for the act concerned. 5. If the literal interpretation of a word would make another word meaningless, the former should be interpreted in a qualified sense. 6. The one word must not have several senses. 7. The peculiar feature of one leading object belonging to a class may give name of the whole class. 8. If the meaning of the word is vague, it must be identified and made definite by the following passages. 9. When a verb has more than one adjective used in the text, all these adjectives must be taken to refer to the same acting and not to separate implied actions. 10. When a word is used in a text having the nature of general classive, the singular number of a word includes the plural and the masculine, the other two genders. 11th. A word occurring in an injunctive, injunctive text, Vidhi Bhakya, should be understood in the number and gender which it grammatically bears in the text. There are the rules too which are grammatical in nature. In understanding the text proceeding from this Mimamsa discuss the rules for the sentences. They are broadly divided into four classes of rules as a rules relating to determinate syntactical units so far as the interpretations of injunctive text is concerned. नहीं मुँह अच्छी जा. Rules that relate to the constructions of injunctive text be the bhakyas and arthavada text. See those relating to the different class use. D. The regarding the negations and conflicting text. Elaborations of each of these principles is a tedious task. Therefore, the three general principles governing the constructions of sentence can be mentioned here. The principle of syntactical connections of ek अव्यकर्ता धिकारण, the principle of syntactical split or Bhakya Savidhikaran and the principles of elliptical extensions or Anusangadhikarana. There are also general axioms of interpretations. They are 1. Sarthaka, every word, a word and sentence must have some meaning and purpose. 2. Laghava, when one rule or propositions would suffice, more must not be assumed. 3. Arthikata, to a word or sentence occurring at one and the same place, a double meaning should not be attached. 4. Guna Pradhana, if a word or sentence which on the face of it purports or express a subordinate idea clashes with the principles of idea, the former must be adjusted to the latter or altogether disregarded. 5. Samanjasi, contradictions between words and sentences is not to be presumed if it is possible or reconcile them. 6. Vikalpa, when there is a real contradictions, any of the contradictory matters may be adopted as option. Nyaya interpretation, Nyaya schools agrees to most of its content to the grammarian school. However, Visayatavada and theory of Avada are its unique contributions to the field of hermeneutics. Visayatavada has its basic premise that knowledge is not empty but has content. It is not empty knowledge. Analysis of this knowledge through the universalizations leads to the understanding the relations between the object and the knowledge processor in its entirety. Entity with the universalizations is known as the Visayatavada. Avachedaka and Avachinya also need to be considered in this context. The theory of abhava non-existence is important in the Naya analysis. It forms as an independent category in their metaphysics. Abhava is that cognitions which depends on the cognitions of its counter positive. This theory has much similarity with the Buddhist Apabhada. The three main components of the Abhava are aprati yoga, that which is absent, or the counter positive be anuyogi, the locus or the substratum where the Abhava is. See Pratiyogi Sambandha, the relations of counter positive to the thing.